Previously. X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show.
Come on, it might be fun.
Welcome to X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show.
Where'd you come from?
Where? A place more twisted than a nightshade strangling a tree. Colder than the void of space in the back alley B&B. And harder than the backhand I've felt too many times. No, it's better you do not know. But I am your host.
Hey, chicks dig the Fozzie dude.
Yeah, they do. I guess. I don't know. Maybe they do. Davalanche, and with me, as always, is my co-host.
Hey, I know you. You're the one I saw on the computer screen, just before it blew.
What have you been doing to people's computer screens, Todd Talandre?
They shouldn't be clicking that mysterious link I'm sending.
I wasn't supposed to click the mysterious link.
I have you now. I like the intro to
Why
the
did
show.
you make it so enticingly mysterious?
Every time I just need your bank account so I could put a few $1 million through it, but you can keep 10%. So,
Deal?
Yeah, me and an African
I don't care where it came from. Just do it.
That intro makes me laugh. It looks like we have so much fun. I know we do, but it kind of looks like we're either just like someone died or it's like a highlight reel of the entire show. We're just all like, ah! It's like the intro to like it's like the intro to like a 90s sitcom where like everybody's like laughing and then turns and looks at the screen. Wait, I gotta do it because the screen tears. It's like that sort of thing. It's just funny to me.
I'm enjoying your company.
I know. It's like we got him fooled, Devin. We got him fooled.
We do. Suckers. But welcome, suckers.
Damn suckers.
To X-Rated Evolution. Here we are. Season 1, Episode 6, Middleverse. I like this one. Written by Adam Beechin and Evelyn Goodbye, and directed by Stephen E. Gordon.
Adeline, goodbye.
Goodbye. I don't know how it looks like goodbye. I'm gonna say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Yeah, directed by Stephen E. Gordon. So, any opening thoughts on this one?
Goodbye is a fun name. Goodbye.
They have it.
Yeah, fun episode. Just a little sci-fi, a little funny. A few little gaffes which I'll bring up in my X points, which are kind of interesting. But
why didn't you make your name Evelyn Gabondre for the show?
Because I didn't even know who wrote the episode until you said it, Davin. That's why. Because it's your job to look that stuff up. It's my job to look up dumb stuff that doesn't apply to anything in a real world context.
Perfect.
So that's why my peanut butter works so well with your proverbial jelly.
It's true. Hi, Lulu. Lulu's here again.
Of course, Lulu's our third host.
Seems to be. All right. Well, yeah, I like this one. It was fun to see Forge. A little opening thought there. Good pacing.
Yeah, and a little bit of learning.
Nightcrawler's kind of great. Like I like.
He's the same as he always is, but yes, he's good.
But I like him. He's growing on me pretty fast. Him and Toad are probably my favorites right now. And I like the rock and like the cool music. Whenever like Toad has his own kind of cool theme music. I think he's the only one who does. But whenever you see Toad, there's kind of that.
The whole show is full of like just like rockin' music.
Yeah, it's true. It's fun to watch. It's a good show, and if it gets better, as people say, it's going to be pretty good by the end, I think. But yeah, why don't we just get right into this one?
All right. Well, sir, we see the X-Men having lunch, now being joined by Evan, who is part of the team, as we have discovered from the last episode. Talking about going to Duncan Matthews' party.
Yep.
They're all excited to go. However, Kitty isn't a freshman, so she's not invited, and she's pretty upset about that.
That's true.
We see Evan asking for everyone's moo juice, which I've never, think in my entire life, heard milk described as moo juice before.
You gonna finish that moo juice?
And
If you watch closely, though, he also steals everybody else's milks at the table.
Yes, he sure does. He likes his milk. And I was going to make a next point because his powers come from his bones, so that's like a little nod. But I think I have enough next points. It's fine.
All right, I was going to make that a next point too. So neither of us will. It's perfect.
Nobody gets it. Nobody gets it. War of attrition.
Nobody. Too
If I
easy.
can have it, no one will.
We're not the only mutants in the school, you know.
Yeah, just the cool ones.
Exactly. Because when they say that when they see Lance and Fred walking by, because it's Blob and Avalanche. Oh, actually, Pietro and I think Fred walking by. So
okay. Yeah,
So,
okay.
at one point,
Pietro's
Scott
just
says-
not in the fight later, but he might be.
no, but they do see him walking by because he says Maximoff. Something about Maximoff.
Yeah.
So they're talking about going to the party. Scott says he can't, as it's dangerous for Kurt to go because if someone touches him, they'll still feel the blue fur, even though the device won't hide that, which is something I brought up earlier that was ignored before. However, Kurt's pretty cavalier about it, saying chicks dig the fuzzy dude, and Kitty takes off when he says that. Kind of continuing on their little sort of will they, won't they flirtation. But then Scott sort of gets after Kurt because Kurt jumps on the table.
My tail, man.
Kurt jumps on the table so he can start a party and his tail becomes visible. And Scott pulls him down and then berates him for being careless and drawing too much attention.
Hey, pulling your tail is pretty rude. He justifiably upset there.
Well, Kurt says Scott needs to loosen up. Scott says Kurt needs to quit goofing around. And Kurt teleports away. At the same time he teleports away, Rogue hears and smells his teleportation as he teleports into a room nearby.
There's a sound I want you to hear, and it's...
That was pretty slick.
doesn't
See,
sound
I
like-
like this Nightcrawler.
Doesn't sound like Bamf, though. I want to hear Bamf.
Yeah, it has to go more like
It's like the
that old
aliens
Sega
in
Genesis sound.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind when the ship's like, like that's what I want it to sound like.
Like all those tones. It just keeps
like,
echoing.
And oh god, why can't I think of his name? Richard Dreyfuss comes out of nowhere and he's like, this means something. So he hears it. He says he needs to learn how to teleport better because he can't quite always figure out where he's teleporting to, which is why he wound up in this room. So as Rogue approaches, he is out of his inducer, got damaged or something during the running around. When he teleported, his inducer got smashed. So he couldn't change back into form. So he goes and he tries to teleport to another room and he hears someone coming, not knowing it's Rogue because she's seen him be blue before. And when he goes to the other side, he sees a weird computer lab. He activates a tripwire, which makes a figure on the TV.
If you're hearing this message, you've got 10 seconds before this lab.
Yeah, self-destructs, I think is what he said. I think you muted your thing.
Oh, so did it mute the sound effect?
It did, and it might be the other reason, but it didn't cut off the end of it.
Because whoops. All right.
If you're hearing this message, you've got 10 seconds before this lab self-destructs. Have a nice day. What's left of it.
And then Kurt tries to stop it, but then it's still in the middle of the room when it explodes. And all it does is just kind of blast him through the door. like the guy in the screen, who we will know is Forge eventually, says like, what's left of it? Like, you're going to die, basically. And then he just whole room explodes, but doesn't even kill Kurt. So Rogue sees this.
It's the fuzz.
That's
like
right.
a cushioning
fuzzy
layer.
guy.
Mm-hmm.
Rogue kind of helps him up, and the two of them look through the rubble of the blast. Everything is destroyed except for one strange-looking device, which she accidentally zaps him with, and he disappears. And Kurt appears in a place that we'll come to know as the Middleverse, where he sort of in a place between realities, where he effectively sometimes appears as a ghost to others, can see the world around him, but can't interact with it. And apparently it has a range that you have to be stuck within, which is the school.
And unaffected by time.
Yes, that is true. Yes, that is true. So we see the parking lot. Toad's chasing a bug, looking for his meal. Unfortunately, gets rolled over by a car in the parking lot before he gets a chance to eat it. Mystique, or who he knows Mystique, but they don't yet. Miss Stark. Actually, he might know. I can't remember if she appeared to him in her real form or not.
But what an interesting form of time travel. Maybe I'll save that later. I don't
It's
know.
not really
All right,
time
we'll
travel.
talk
It's
about
not.
that
It's
later.
not time travel if you're just stuck in a place where time doesn't work and then time passes naturally by you. That's not time travel.
It is if you can hop out.
Well, you can eventually, but you can't go back or forth. You literally just stay back and wait for time to catch up to a certain
Yeah,
point.
it's
and then
time
jump back.
travel to the future. But you get to experience time in all
Nope.
that time without aging. It's like an extended time traveling.
Well, assuming you have something
it's
to
like the
preoccupy
best of
yourself.
both worlds.
Well, assuming you have something to preoccupy yourself with, or you have other people, because otherwise you're going to be pretty fucking lonely for centuries while you're sitting there just living out the days waiting for, I don't know, flying cars, whatever you're waiting for.
Ford does say it stops just short of the girls' locker room.
Yeah, you can't even jerk off in there. Come on. I mean, I guess you can, but no one's going to see you. Or you're not going to be able to do it to the girls' locker room, apparently, which is, I like when kids shows make a joke that's obviously an adult joke, but they never take it far enough to really, like, what the actual thing they're saying is he wants to leer at the naked girls in the locker room, but the range, it goes out 10 feet short of the girls' locker room. So it's just funny when it's like kind of innocent when they don't take it to its natural conclusion. But if you just think it through, you're like, oh, that's pretty horrific. Those girls can't consent. But if you're stuck in a time thing for decades, I imagine you would get a little lonely. So, I can't blame him too bad. And those girls are his age.
Look
so
who's
something.
talking. At least I didn't blow the place up.
Well, her accent seems to come and go sometimes, depending on.
When it's on, it's good though.
Yeah.
Oh, he says this.
Where am I? The Twilight Zone?
That's a pretty dated reference.
Everyone knows the Twilight Zone. There's been so many remakes.
That's true. I like the Jordan Peele one. It only had a couple seasons, so it was nice.
Haven't seen it yet, but I assume it's pretty good.
It was good. One of the best episodes, probably the one with Topher. It's pretty good ones. The one with Topher Grace is really good. So Raven tells him.
Haven't
so
seen him since that Venom debacle.
You haven't seen anything with Topher Grace since it's Venom.
I don't know. Maybe I have.
You see Black Klansman, the Spike Lee movie? Oh, you should. It's really good. He plays David Duke in it, and he's really good.
Topher Grace plays David Duke.
David Dukes, yeah, he does. He's really good in it too.
All right.
So then Kurt disappears. He's stuck in this other Middleverse place. Toad's trying to get a bug, but it's lost when Raven drives over it. Says that if he gets any slime in her car, she would permanent attention. He wires away and finds Rogue dumping the gizmo in a dumpster. That's why she's so jumpy. She says there's one less X-Men to worry about. Giving cred with the Brotherhood because they think she got rid of one of the X-Men. He looks at the device and zaps the dumpster and disappears. Gene and Scott are talking about how he handled the situation with Kurt, and then two kids ran out of the bathroom screaming about a blue demon ghost. They think it just means that Kurt's in there, so they gotta look for
Ghost! Oh, we just saw a ghost! Blue and hairy demon! I'm out of here! I warned him.
Blue and hairy demon.
So they
It's
run
funny,
to go
like
to the
they talk so much about the fur and stuff on Nightcrawler, but like no artist ever really accentuates that. Like,
Well, it's
no one
like
ever
a
makes him
fine
look
fur.
furry.
It's like
Yeah,
a
I
fine
guess
fur.
so. Yeah.
It's a fine. It is a fine fur.
Like even
Not
in
like-
like the
not
movies,
like a
they
cat.
didn't make him furry. They just painted him blue.
Well, in the one movie he was in, and then the one that showed him when he was younger, yes. So
But I don't know.
it's probably
What
easier
I
effect.
want.
It's probably easier effect wise than to make a whole guy blue, like furry blue.
True, no.
So so then they go to investigate. They don't see him anywhere.
Oh, my lunch.
Did you skip that part?
Way ahead. Yeah, that's when he was looking for the bug in the parking lot.
Yeah, that was a fun part. I love Toad. See, that's his groovy tunes.
Oh, my lunch.
It's like he's not even trying to fit in. He's eating bugs and shit, like in the parking lot. Like his whole thing is like nobody like he won't fit in, and people judge him, and he's like eating bugs in the parking lot. Like you be somewhat self-aware about what the people around you are like if you want to fit in with them. I'm not saying you should have to, but
Well, he's got like yellow eyes, like Data, and like his teeth are yellow, so they're either rotten.
his skin
or
is
they're
kind of
just
green,
yellow in
greenish.
color. So, like some of them,
The greenish.
it's
hue to
interesting
his
how
skin.
these mutants are just being so secretive at this school and nobody's noticing because
Mhm.
I don't know. We'll see how long that lasts. I feel like they're all going to get expelled at the end of this season or something, but we'll see.
Well, Xavier has some pull at the school, so I hear.
Well, he's got his
So that's a line in this
influence.
episode, actually. Yeah. So when they go to look for Kurt, they don't find him. They run into the Blob, and Avalanche. Scott thinks they did something to him. They basically started getting a bit of a fight.
Bit of a Donnybrook.
Yeah, the Mystique shows up, breaks him up, takes Gina Scott to her office. When she gets there, well, sorry, before she gets there, we see Kurt's freaking out in the Middleverse. Toad, in revenge for how mean Darkholm was to him earlier, zapped all her furniture away using the device, and meanwhile Kurt is in the Middleverse dodging all the pieces of furniture that are getting dumped into the Middleverse by Toad, including as they look out the window, as she runs off to go find out what happened to her furniture. Gina Scott look out the window and see Toad using it on Mystique's car. So in the Middleverse, you see Nightcrawler have to dodge a vehicle that just suddenly appears above him and almost crushes him.
This is just way too freaky. Ah! It's raining furniture!
But when that happens, and he dives out of the way, it's not there yet. He dives out of the way. Still not there yet. Gene and Scott see him for a split second while he's moving. So they figure something's going on. Kurt's stuck somewhere, and they go to try to figure it out by putting two and two together with whatever Toad's doing. Possibly is what they did to Kurt. So then they're going looking for Kurt. Meanwhile, Kurt runs into the guy that stuck him in the Middleverse, who introduced himself as Forge. Apparently, he's already given himself a name, a mutant name. Doesn't answer. Like if I decided like I have powers and I'm like I'm going to call myself Forge in my powers because that's cool. And I run into a regular person. Well, I guess he runs into a blue elf, but he's just like I'm Forge.
Yeah, he's Nightcrawler. He's like,
What are you, man? Don't let my looks fool you. I'm a harmless blue fuzzball. Really.
He's not harmless. He could hurt somebody. He does,
but he doesn't want to. He's a nice chap.
That's true. He is a nice chap. Nice German chap.
Cool.
So Forge explains that he created this pocket dimension back in the 70s, which is where he's from. I think he says it's 79 or something when 78, 79, when they're in the when they see is in the video, it has like a timestamp or something.
Mm-hmm.
So he's been stuck here ever since. Back in the 70s, he creates another gadget that allows Kurt to port back for a couple seconds. Kurt introduces himself as a mutant. He reveals his hand can turn into this robot thing. Which, if that's just a mutant ability, like how does that work? Like,
well, I assume that's just tech he invented.
I don't know. In the 70s, all right.
Forge could.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he could have invented that. I guess. I don't know. Can he touch metal? I don't know. Could he have invented it while in the Middleverse? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
In his head, though, he's probably invented a million things over these 20 years in the Middleverse.
Yeah. Why doesn't he solve world hunger then? Why does he make a
Give
perpetual
him a
motion
minute.
machine?
He just got out of the Middleverse. Give him 10 minutes.
Well, he's gonna. If by the end of season 5 he hasn't solved all the world's problems with his incredible intellect,
then your criticism is valid.
Then yes, and I feel as though I will be.
Well, as you hold that, I told you so for the end.
So the X-Men catch Toad and ask him about Kurt. Rogue shows up and tells them that she did it to Kurt. She takes him to the lab. They study the gizmo and figure out that Kurt's trapped in a pocket dimension. Scott wants to destroy it. Forge tells Kurt if they do that, then the two of them will be trapped forever. So Cyclops is ready to blast it. And then Kitty asks why doesn't she just phase through it and quietly short it out. Spike and Cyclops look at her like she has two heads. And she just forget I said anything. She's like, what is it with guys wanting to blow things up? Which I think is really funny. Like the guys are really like upset that they can't blow up the thing. Like she's like, why don't I just short it out? And they're like, but we want to blow it up. Like they don't say that, but it's pretty obvious they would.
It's like, no, we can blow it up instead.
So Kurt uses the gadget, appears just for a second and says reset don't before he disappears again. The X-Men argue over what he means. Spike still wants to destroy it. Scott says he needs him to reset it. And then he has a moment where someone says, well, Kurt's always joking around. It might not mean anything. He says, well, no, Kurt does, but he can be serious sometimes.
Kurt's like, damn it, I knew it. He's like, even told Forge earlier. He's like, look, I have this reputation, so they may not believe anything I say.
Scott resets it, but Forge and Kurt need more power to be able to port back through the portal to get home. So it makes a portal, but they don't have enough power. So Kurt takes them to Raven's car, which is still in the Middleverse. At the same time, in the real world, Bob, Avalanche, and Toad show up looking for Rogue. got surprised that Rogue is working with them because obviously they didn't know where her alliances fell, but now they see her with Avalanche and the others. Avalanche asks whose side she's
her own
on.
friends.
Yeah. They ask her, Avalanche asks her whose side she's on. She says it's not her fight and she leaves. So she doesn't really pick the side, essentially. The rest fight over the gizmo. Jean and Scott put Blob down. Avalanche knocks Kitty through a wall, but she faces back, calls him a loser, which is very Kitty. Kitty is very Jubilee from the 97 show. Like literally their characters.
I don't know.
Like, there's a Venn diagram of how similar those characters are. It'd be like very almost completely covered. One would be like Jewish and Asian would be like the two things that don't overlap.
I don't know. I feel like Jubilee's more acceptant of all this stuff, where she had the exact same reaction to the Nightcrawler in the first episode. Yeah, she's like first 2 episode Jubilee.
And Kurt's also an adult man in X-Men. If he was a teenage guy hitting on her, it'd probably be the exact same difference, right? The Brotherhood takes off when the gizmo they run over the gizmo, smashing it. Oh, sorry. So they use the car to get the power they need and drive it through the portal. When they drive through the portal, they run over the gizmo and drive into the blob. Everyone's okay, but the gizmo's destroyed, so the Brotherhood takes off. Rogue Watch, the X-Men, and Forge leave. Scott offers Forge a spot at the university, and he declines, saying he wants to go home. He also says he's like 20 years too late for curfew, which is a fun little joke. Then they load into Scott's convertible. And Kurt and Scott have a moment where they realize that Scott says maybe I was too hard, and Kurt says maybe I joked too much, and they both come to a nice little understanding. And then Scott says they're all going to go to the party, including Kitty. So they all happily run and go off to the party together. Although they better stop and get Kurt another image enhancer,
image inducer. That's it. Yep. True enough.
End of episode.
That's that episode. That was a very succinct run through there. Fine job.
Thank you. Well, there's not as many, like, I find this show has a lot less. The other X-Men show had a lot more like little jokes, not jokes, but little nods to like all these X-Men lore. This one doesn't seem to have so much. Like, it seems like it's more of a teen drama show, that just has some X-Men stuff in it than like a fully immersive X-Men universe.
And I've sort of, my thought on this kind of stuff has always been, at least back in when we were kids, with some shows like X-Men, and even now there's shows like that too for kids, but things written for kids I find are more adult than things written for teenagers, which is why I don't like much teenage content. I find it like the most juvenile of all of it. People can watch stuff with like a 3-year-old, whether what they're watching, or a 6-year-old, and it's enjoyable stuff. Like, I'd rather watch SpongeBob SquarePants than like, something on the CW or whatever.
I love me some SpongeBob SquarePants.
Exactly. So there's that. They're a little thinner for that reason. These plots, I thought, just because they are kind of a teenage drama so far. But not bad. I actually quite like this episode a lot. So that's just in comparison to X-Men TAS, which, though was a show for kids, I find was written more for adults than this show seems to be so far. But let's rate it, shall we? Yeah, it's a pretty good tune. Anyway, we could do the whole thing. It's not. All right, where's my banner when I want it? Banners are lost.
Riveting.
Let's do it anyway.
Riveting
I'll find
podcast.
it. I know, there it is. Ratings from 1 to X. So I give this one an 8.
I too give it an 8.
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty solid. Kind of fun. Hitting a stride a little bit now that we know the characters and have to have some fun with them. So,
Nightcrawler's coming along. I mean, Cyclops was pretty good in this one too.
It just sort of like, it's just such a small. The world is so small in the show because like the only bad guys I run into are the people at the school. You know what I mean? Like it's a very different take on it, which is fine. But it's like it's not quite as interesting because you're just gonna, I'm imagining for the first season at least, and for that you're just gonna keep running into the same villains over and over again because they're all the ones who go to school. So it's not like Omega Red's gonna bust in the side wall and there's gonna be a Russian exchange student who's Omega Red or something. Like maybe that's where they'll go with it, but I just feel like if they did that every week, it would also be weird too. So it's like
what is it? What is this one? 6? So I think there's 13 episodes this season. I know coming up in this season there's a Sabretooth episode, and there's a
we've established him already. So
Juggernaut will be showing up here. I don't know if he shows up at the school or whatever, but I know Juggernaut's showing up in a couple episodes. So I do think they sprinkle in more characters. There's even a Christmas special on this series, season 2, episode 7. Yeah, we're not going to get there in time for Christmas, unfortunately. That would have been nice timing. Unless you want to jump ahead and do that one.
No.
Nah. But 8. Pretty good. This was a good one for working within that small world that they have, adding this Middleverse concept with Forge. See, I think they'll find ways to bring in the characters. It'll still have this. It'll always come back to this. It's just like Buffy in that way. Like Buffy the Vampire Slayer could go down into some demon underworld or something, or tangle with witches or something, and then just go to school the next day. It'll just be that. So there'll always be that school dynamic as well. But hopefully that evolves as well. Like I kind of do want to see how like the conflict goes with the other students as they start to realize they're mutants, as you'd think they would. Oh no. Well, that's not what's coming up next. Uncanny exploits.
I'll go first. Adam Beechin wrote this episode. Those of you who know anything about comic books know Adam Beechin is a prominent comic book writer as well. He wrote an indie comic called Hench, which sort of got him noticed, and then he had a really long run on Robin for DC Comics. He also did Countdown to Final Crisis, a bunch of stuff later. But he's a cool writer, and his Robin run is really neat. He worked on Teen Titans, a lot of those Countdown books, a lot of Batman stuff, Batman Beyond. He did the comic book version of that. It came with the New 52. He's a cool guy, cool comic artist, and it's neat that he seems to do a lot of episodes of the series, so that's really cool.
Well, I think so does Kyle and Yost in this series as well.
No, really?
Yeah. I think they might hire a few more comic artists.
That's neat. They got some comic guys too.
TAS, it was just Len Wein for that episode, I think, for his first comic.
Oh, Lenny Wein. Did he ever do anything important in comics? I'm kidding.
No, rather forgettable name.
He created nothing important.
No.
Did no characters, no short characters that some people love more than others.
No strong.
Actually, that most people
strongest of all characters. Certainly not.
No character in the history of fiction is stronger than Wolverine. Is better than Wolverine, do you? No, I don't mean like physically stronger. I just mean as a character.
In my reference.
I see. Okay.
Yes. All right. So my first one is Kurt's hollow fingers. Did you happen to notice, because he only has 3 fingers, when he's in his hollow inducer, he always holds his fingers like this? So
I didn't. That's a cool point.
Like this.
That's a cool point.
I noticed it a couple of times, so they are paying like attention to it. This is interesting. It's kind of like Scotty on the old Star Trek, who always used to have to hide his missing a finger because he got shot off in the war. So he'd always be like,
that's really fun. Next point. This is the first episode of the show in which Charles Xavier does not appear, or Wolverine.
It's true.
It's just interesting.
Didn't need him.
They're not as important. The kids are taking center stage here, which is interesting. So,
I mean, Xavier, so far in these episodes, will just pop in with like a mind sentence or so.
Good old mind sentence.
Yeah, exactly. Here's my next one. So Spike sort of has Marrow's powers, but Marrow's bone protrusions were actually the color of bone, whereas Spike's are like brown. So I don't really know what's going on there.
His bones are brown. What do you want?
His bones are brown or something?
Gold brown bones.
Maybe it's just once they're protruded. I don't know. But
brown. Maybe they're covered in blood. Maybe they're covered in blood. Maybe it's their dried blood on the bone. I think Brown Bones would have been a probably rejected name for this character. Well, Brown Bones
Actually,
over
but
there.
then when he tosses those long ones, they turn to bone color, didn't they?
I think so. Might have just been a color.
Yeah. But when they like protrude from him and he's just like armoring up with bones or whatever, they're still brown. So maybe his skin is stretching over them. That seems like that would hurt a lot. I don't know. I got to pay more attention to the animation on Spike, I think. See what's going on there.
All right. My third point. When Forge was zapped in the Middleverse, it was 1978. When Scott asked him to go to the Xavier Institute, he states that it's 20 years late for curfew, meaning that would make this show take place in 1998, which is not the case.
No, it's more like 2000 or something.
Exactly. Right? So maybe he doesn't know. Well, and that can excuse him. Maybe he hasn't had a chance to look at a watch. I guess he probably would have had lots of chance to look at clocks to know, or something with the date on it. You probably lose track of time eventually. But
fun fact: Forge was a firm believer in Y2K. And if you told him you were in year 2000, he wouldn't believe you because he thought the world would end.
There's a very exciting new movie coming out called Y2K. I'm very excited about. It's written
about that whole thing.
Yeah, it takes place in a world where like Y2K actually does, and all the computers come to life and the world gets fucked up. But it's by Kyle Mooney from used to be an SNL. He did a movie called Brigsby Bear that I highly suggest. That's really, really good. So if it's half as good as that was, I'm sure it'll be great. The kid from Stranger Things not Stranger Things, the kid from It that played the main kid, the kid with the stutter, is in it, and the guy from the kid from Deadpool 2 that played Fire Fist.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's in it too.
From Hunt of the Wilder People.
Yeah. Great movie.
Do you remember all that hubbub about Y2K? Were you fearing for your life, Andre, back in grade 9 or wherever you were at the time?
I was grade 10, I think. No, it would have been grade 9. Well,
I was in grade 10.
It would have been the overlap because like Christmas started, like the school year isn't the year. So I would have been in grade 9. And it would have been I know I was babysitting my neighbor's kids. And they were in bed and I was watching TV, and I just the second hit 12, I watched it. I was waiting. I was literally just watching when the clocks or see the power go out or anything once the time hit, but it did not.
No, didn't. I think I was hanging out with my grandmother.
No, that's sweet. You just ready to like in case you had to eat her in case society fell apart, or just.
No, I usually used to just spend New Year's with my grandmother. Actually.
That's sweet. What a sweet grandson you were.
Yeah, I do love my grandmother. So, all right, back to me. So, oh yeah. So Nightcrawler's teleporting powers, man. So they're just on point in this series, and they never question it. Like he's never really in pain from it or anything. He teleports a car, no problem, in this episode. So it'll be interesting to see how far they push his teleportation powers, because they're already pretty amped up.
My fourth point is another funny goof. So Forge was zapped in the Middleverse in 1978. When they exit the car and the airbags inflate once they bust in a blob, Forge asks what those are. He's unfamiliar with what airbags are. Airbags are introduced in the 70s, like in the mid 70s. Airbags were made in 1971. So he probably would have been aware of what they were. The general public at that point would have had airbags in most cars.
Well, my next one, Blob calls Cyclops Slim.
That was going to be my next one too.
Oh no. And Avalanche calls Jean Red, which is her nickname. So they both get their nicknames thrown at them in this one by their enemies, but whatever. That's fun.
That is a fun one.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, my last point is just it was neat seeing Forge be on the show. It'd be more. It's such a different take on the character, so it'll be interesting to see how they make all these other X-Men characters fit within this teenage high school world that they're in. Be curious to see. It'd be awesome if like Apocalypse is just like a basketball player from another school, just a really tall guy, just talks the same way, but he's just like a high school senior,
exchange student.
Yeah, right. That'd be even better.
Yeah.
He's playing basketball and like crushing the other team. He's like, "Your victory will crush on the shores of time."
I hope that's what they do. I don't think they'll do it that way, though.
I think so.
We'll
It'd be
see.
pretty funny if they did.
All right, my last point is this is the problem I called it was going to happen a couple episodes when they introduced Quicksilver. No, I guess it was last episode. He's too OP for all these characters pretty much, so they're going to have to start writing him out. And by the very next episode, he was hanging out with them all. But as soon as the fight breaks out, Quicksilver's nowhere to be found because he'd end everything instantly. He's just too powerful for this. So I think they're just going to keep writing him out of scenes constantly. And it's already begun. They do it in comics, like it's like speedster characters and OP characters. You just have to write them out. Like Franklin Richards, you just have like every time a Crisis crossover happens in Marvel, Franklin Richards is nowhere to be found because. And same with
So he's
speedster.
a child. You want him duking around? Jesus Christ!
Sure, why not? No, he doesn't have to duke it out. He can just remake the whole reality, just make it all go away. But like he's just an example. But like you have to write out these super powerful characters. They do just end everything. And so he's an interesting character to have on a main roster like this because I think it's going to cause some problems. And I think we're seeing it happen already. But I'm glad he's there. I like Quicksilver.
Good character.
And we'll see how they do it. Maybe they'll figure it out. Or maybe, other characters will seem up to the task of fighting his speedster powers. Which right now they aren't. I mean, Storm could come in and take care of business.
That's true. Storm wasn't in this episode either.
Nope. And it did suffer for that. That's true. It's true. Oh, I have it on mute.
That's our next segment there, buddy. Keep this train rolling.
Hey, check it.
Get a comic book reminiscence or recommendation for us?
Well, you can check out the Mutant Massacre Omnibus, which is
there
right
you go.
here in all its gorgeous glory. I sent Devin a photo of my some of my grabs when I was in Moncton. They had a comic store. I got a bunch of omnibuses in for cheap that they were selling. I picked up a few of them. I got the X-Men Mutant Massacre Omnibus. Big enough to club a home invader to death with, which is great. But if I don't kill him with the first shot, I can pull off the other one I got, which is the X-Men Inferno prologue, which I thought I had the Inferno trade already, which I don't. I got it mixed up with the Acts of Vengeance one I have. But this one is still pretty cool. So it got the prologue issues that lead all to the Inferno thing. And then if that guy's still alive after that severe bludgeoning, I can hit him with the Fall of the Mutants trade I got right here, which continues on. Some great story stuff there. Beautiful art and a lot of fun stuff. So these omnibus collections are beautiful. And I try to pick them up when I can, when I have the dough and if they're on sale. And thankfully, those ones were. They had some other ones there as well, but they were like seconds or third parts I didn't already have. And then others that I already had too. But yeah, it was cool.
Well, those were awesome finds for sure. You got a lot of reading to do.
Oh, yeah, baby. It's not like there's 1,000 other ones that I got to read before that one either.
Well, I was looking for the trade, but I couldn't find it. But just based on the trailers that just dropped, I was just going to say, go read some Thunderbolts. And, there's a few different fun rosters. You can read the original Thunderbolt story, which is a lot of fun. I mean, the ending's spoiled for pretty much everybody. You're not really the ending, but the big...
Yeah, the new trailer pretty much shows you everything.
If it's, it does, but it doesn't, because they don't touch on any of the Sentry stuff. And if he's a big part of that story, he is in the movie. So if he's a big part of it, then they're not showing any of that. So that's what I think's happening. And it looks like they show you the whole movie, and I'm like, this movie's going to be okay.
Well, they show you...
The America 4 trailer looks a lot of fun. I think.
Yes, it does. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I got it mixed up. Yeah, they don't show you very much in the Thunderbolts one. But the Captain America one does show you quite a bit, including the return of one of my favorite actors, who I'm glad to see back in the Marvel Universe after not appearing since his first appearance, way back in the Incredible Hulk movie. But it's cool.
The leader.
Yeah. Curious to see what he looks like. I do like Tim Blake Nelson a lot. So
yeah, he's good. Tim Blake Nelson.
He's be good in that role, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I'm looking. That movie looks great. They do look like they show a lot, but maybe it goes places and there's lots of surprises. Oh my god! It didn't do it all thing. Yeah, it just sneaks up on you. Didn't do it all episode. Now my soundboards going on.
It literally does this every single time, and it's always around after we get through the episode. Like it's always the end of the
Why?
episode where it happens.
Oh, maybe it's doing the. Oh, I have a theory now. Interesting.
Well, let's
I'm gonna
hope it
test
solves
that
the
theory
problem.
next week. Yep. Let's hope. All right. So, what's mine? Yeah, Thunderbolts. But there's also the fun roster I like that actually has the leader in it, and the red leader, actually, which is the one with the Punisher and the Ghost Rider.
It's still the same leader. He's just red,
Elektra.
isn't he?
Yeah.
Right. That was them really trying to keep the color palette. Like everyone got red and black costumes.
Yeah.
But most of the
it
team
seemed
was
like
red
that.
and black. So then they put the
whole
Punisher
team. Red
team,
Hulk
and
was
then
on that team too.
yeah, and then they put the Punisher on there, and then had him have like a red skull
Red.
on his chest instead of a black
Yeah.
one. Like
And
the red
Deadpool was
skull,
on
of
the
course,
team.
already being a prominent figure in the Marvel Universe, meaning something else entirely.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, so that was a fun run too. Yeah, check out some Thunderbolts. But also, you can check out if you want to read some Forge stuff, which is more of like a recommendation for myself because I haven't really read much of the like late 90s X Factor.
Mhm.
Apparently there's a big run that I haven't really read much of where Mystique and Forge are leading the team and they start to have a little fling and he kind of takes them underground away from the government. So, go check that out. It's like somewhere around issues 122 of X Factor.
Nice.
Yeah. All right.
No noise is going on in there. It's good. It's good.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Good stuff.
All right, what you got for us, Andre?
Well, I'm just gonna go for a movie that I watched recently because I posted it at the movie night I host last week on Tuesday. I'm gonna go with the ultimate classic fun film, Spinal Tap. This is Spinal Tap. If you haven't seen it, you should go watch
A
it.
favorite of mine. A favorite.
We did it at the film nights I host at the local bar, and it went over beautifully. That movie made me laugh hysterically. And someone even said, "You must think it's the funniest movie ever because like you laugh so hard." And I said, "I've seen this movie probably 25 times, and I'm still laughing this hard," which means yes, it probably is. It's so good. It's so good.
I just got a new guitar. Can I see it? No.
Yeah, no. He's like,
don't even look at it.
He's like, "I was going to touch it. Just point." He's like, "No, don't point. Don't
No,
even.
no.
Don't. In fact, don't even look at it.
Yeah.
You've looked at it enough or something." He's like, "Over here."
He's like, you see,
Yeah.
this is my actual skeleton. He's like,
Yeah,
except
what
it's not green.
It's green.
But it is green.
Yeah, because the blue under the veins, and they're just some vapid idiots, but it's so good. And like Christopher Guest has gone on to obviously make like the mockumentary thing his thing, and he's done so many awesome movies. Best in Show, Waiting for Guffman, A Mighty Wind. They're all fucking hilarious. But this is probably what brought him to the party. It was mostly improvised, and that just shows how genius all those guys are. And but he just has this dumb look on his face all the time where he's just staring at somebody or off in the distance at something. And especially when the main guy, David's girlfriend shows up and he really hates her and just the looks he gives her. It's so good. Like there's so much comedy. It's just sprinkled throughout. It's awesome.
Movie.
So good.
Yeah, agreed.
Check it out.
Good recommendation. Definitely if you haven't seen it. And the music's good.
Oh, yes.
Stonehenge is good too.
Oh, and the music is fantastic. Surprisingly fantastic. Stonehenge is great.
Was it Big Bottom Girls or something like that?
It's called Big Bottoms. Big Bottoms.
Yeah.
There's like the Tonight We're Gonna Rock You. Tonight I'm Gonna Rock You Tonight. Which is actually like a really good 80s rock song. Like the music is surprisingly good.
Yeah, great. It's a good, great movie all around. All right. So, moving on.
I have much to teach you.
This would be a quick one. This is really more of a recommendation for young Evan Daniels there. He's drinking a lot of the milk because he needs the calcium. But what he should also be doing is supplementing that. So he's not just so dependent on dairy. With seeds, it would be good. Some nuts, also very high in calcium. Rhubarb, strangely enough. Get some of that rhubarb into you, young Evan. That'll help with the calcium as well. So there's lots of options there. Yeah. Other
The
than
show
berries,
just has a
young
bunch of
Evan.
scenes of him eating rhubarb.
Yeah, that would be. See, I would like that. I want to see those scenes where he's just munching on a rhubarb, straight out of the Xavier's garden. Surely Xavier's got a garden on the property.
I'm sure.
You know, Storm's got one. That's for sure. Up in her room. Yeah, but yeah. So get those other high calcium foods into you, Evan. That's all I'm saying. Some cashews. It'd be delicious.
Very nice.
All right. So, let's move on to extracurriculars. All right. So this one I call the rename game. All right. So I'm gonna give you an X-Men character, and you have to give them a new name, a new superhero name. And then you will throw a character at me, and I shall do the same.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Okay.
All right. Start you off easy. Cyclops.
Blaster.
All right.
Blast Man. I like Blaster. Wait, Blaster? Blaster. Beam. Blast. Yeah, I like Blaster. Let's take a Blaster. Not to be confused with Blastar, cosmic character of the ages.
No, certainly not. The living bomb burst. No. All right. Now you pick a character for me.
Storm.
Goddess.
Isn't that what she was called when she was Wonder Woman in the Amalgam universe?
I think you're right.
Yeah.
It was something like that, wasn't it? All right. Here's one for you. Colossus.
Iron Curtain. Or Stalin.
Really the curtain part, but
Stalin, which means Man of Steel. So.
Oh, geez.
So. Russian.
That's pretty good. All right, keep going. Pick one for me.
Phantom X.
Oh God, Convolution Man.
Oh come on, you gotta pick a real name.
No, like I would probably call him like I don't know, like it's already another character like Trinary, but he's like three separate brains, right? So something like that, like Hydra. Maybe no.
Trinary doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah, that's already another X-Men character though.
Oh,
like Matrix Man.
Just go.
All right. Rogue.
She's kind of like an energy vampire, sort of. But she steals powers.
One day that'll stop.
Power grabber,
Succubus.
soul stealer. It's like, what's another word for powers starts with S? It'd be like something stealer. I don't think there is one.
Essence.
No, it's not good.
No.
Succubus. Power, no, let's say it's too like horror movie-ish.
Lamprey eel.
No, you can just say lamprey. It'll probably be better than that. But
The southern lamprey.
what? Stop trying to help me. You're not helping at all. Yeah, like somewhat stealer. She was like a bad person, right? So it's like power broker. So that's a character, right? So honestly, just power stealer. That's not good. It's gotta be something better than that, like energy.
Wraith lady.
Strength stealer. Let's go with that.
All right, send another. I'll show you how it's done. Give me another character.
Wolverine.
Pine Martin.
Oh, you're making fun of me, and you think Pine Martin's a good choice?
Well, I need another small Canadian but ferocious animal. Yeah, Pine Martin.
You don't need to pick an animal.
Beaver Man, but I think Pine Martin, maybe, or like a fisher. You ever seen a fisher?
Remember how they tried to call X-23 Honey Badger for like 10 minutes and they stopped because
No,
it's
Honey
not a good
Badger's a
name?
different character.
Okay, remember how the character wasn't popular at all because it's a stupid name to call somebody?
Now they call her Scout.
Yeah, because it's not an intimidating name.
Honey Badgers are crazy. You don't think?
But
Pine
it's not an
Martin would get the
intimidating
point
man.
across?
No, it wouldn't, Devin. Nobody's going to go look up what a Pine Martin is and learn enough about it to understand why it's a scary animal.
What about Savage Bunny?
I mean, a badger would make sense for him, but that's still not a strong sounding name either. So,
Savage Bunny.
no, that's dumb. The bunny from Monty Python. What's he gonna do? Nibble me bum?
Nibble ya bum. He would say.
All right, that's enough. That's enough.
All right. The rename game. We're coming back to that game. That's a good game.
That's fine.
All right, one more segment here.
Dude, it's just a party. Time to shake that tail. Woohoo! Party, party, party!
I wonder if we're going to see Gambit in the show.
Oh, definitely.
Okay. What do you got? I got an interesting fact for this.
All right. What's up for party like it's apostrophe 97?
Well, tangential story that just got released today, which I'm sure you may not be aware of or may be aware of. They announced the voice of one of the What If episodes in the new season.
Oh, yes.
It's going to feature Storm taking Thor's hammer. And they announced today who's doing the voice of Storm.
There's clips of it. It's on our social media.
Oh, is it? Well, there you go. It's a friend of the show, Alison Seeley-Smith.
Certainly is.
Yeah, which is, I mean, of course it is. Who else could they use?
I
Certainly not that person they tried to use before. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, man. Yeah, she shows up and she's like, it's oh crap, what's her name? Kahori from What If season 1 or 2. You know who I mean.
Yeah, the second season, the one from the one they made up for the show.
Yeah, that's a good episode. And her and somebody else, it looks like maybe Peggy Carter, and they need help. And it's like, maybe we need to call for help. And Storm comes down with like the Thor. It's like Stormborn is what she's called in the comics when she's like that. Not Daenerys Stormborn, the original Stormborn.
Daenerys' named Stormborn?
I am Storm, goddess of the lightning. It's amazing. It's amazing. But yeah, that's basically what I wanted to talk about was all that What If stuff. So we also see Oscar Isaac's Apocalypse in that trailer for What If season. So
yeah, but also Oscar Isaac's back as Moon Knight too in it too.
So where's that Apocalypse going to show up? That'll be interesting to see. And is that like a hint that maybe they're going to keep him moving forward as Apocalypse? I seem to doubt it because he's
we already have him as Moon Knight, but I think Moon Knight's in the series too. He's doing the voice of Moon Knight. So, well, does he do the voice of Apocalypse? It's just a guy. It could be somebody else.
Well, it's definitely based on. Well, go look at the pictures.
I saw the picture, but it could be a robot from like Ultron or something.
Oh no, that's definitely Apocalypse, looking exactly like Oscar Isaac. I bet anything. Here, I'll bring it up. I can bring it up for you.
Yeah, I saw the picture, Devin.
All right. I think it is. I'm pretty sure.
Seems like an odd choice to pick a movie nobody seemed to really enjoy.
What's that?
It seems odd choice to incorporate a character that nobody seemed to care about or enjoy at all.
Yeah, but they did that in Deadpool and Wolverine too. There's a lot of clunker characters in that movie. Like, you remember that Elektra movie? It wasn't great.
No, it wasn't.
I had it on DVD. It was one of the first DVDs I bought that wasn't.
Oh, it was ostensibly terrible.
Yeah. Yep, I do not have that DVD anymore. Yeah. That's a party like it's apostrophe 97. I'm excited for What If season 3. Deadpool and Wolverine comes out on Disney Plus tomorrow, so I'll probably watch that again tomorrow.
Or you could just watch the Blu-ray, as real fans have purchased already.
I have kids. I can't go purchasing DVDs if it's going to come on Disney Plus. I pay for Disney Plus, and they just keep raising it up $1 every bill cycle. So
yeah, is that 100? Was it an 150 a year now?
Oh yeah, something like that. It went from like $14.99 a month to $15.99, I think, something like that.
No, I got an email saying because I pay. Oh yeah, I pay annually, so it's a little cheaper that way. But it was like went from like 99 to 150 or something, 149 or something.
Well, keep the Marvel stuff coming. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a good year next year.
I finished The Boys, and now I'm firing through Agatha all along. So I'm on episode 4.
You're not finished that yet.
It's good though. It's really, I'm enjoying it. They just got to the where are they at now? Oh, they just got to whatever Agatha's trial is, where they're all like in like they look like they're in like a horror movie in the 70s or something. So, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, every episode gets better than the previous one, I find. First couple didn't quite grab me, but by the end of it, I really liked it.
They really dig it.
We'll be reviewing that over on the Mary Mater Marvel Society sometime, probably next week. And I may have rewritten some of The Witch's Road, so we'll see.
Down, 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 down.
Down the Witch's Road.
The episode where they had to sing that together was nice. That was cool.
Yeah, well, that comes up a lot. There's more. You'll hear it again. Trust me.
Oh, I'm sure I will.
It's homework time.
Well, your homework is to read War and Peace before next week. I want we're going to have a deep intellectual discussion about that particular book. But the works.
How do you feel about audiobook?
I mean, if you think you can listen to an audiobook in a week, go right ahead. I mean,
if I can listen to an audiobook faster than I can read, that's for sure.
You can't read books at any speed.
You have to have time to sit still in a single spot and stare.
Well, why don't you do both? Read to the children, War and Peace. Just
read the War and Peace. Yeah, well, I've tried actually. I'm like, how about we just read this? And they're just
like fuck you. Yeah.
I'll start reading comics soon enough, though. That'll be good enough.
Yeah, that'll be good. At least they'll get to enjoy the pictures and all the good stuff. So your homework is to watch the next episode of the show.
I wonder what happens in it.
Turn of the Rogue, it's called. So I'm thinking maybe this is the one where Rogue finally joins the X-Men, but who knows? We'll have to wait to find out.
The will she won't she? You know, it's been played out. It's
13 episodes this season. 12 and 13 go together. It's called The Cauldron.
Yes. Hanif wants to join us for one of those. He has some words to speak on, I think, the first one of that.
Yeah, well, I want to solve gold toilet. Doesn't mean everything's going to happen. No, I'm just kidding, Hanif. We love you. Happy to have you on the show again.
Yeah, we'll see. He's mad we switched to Mondays.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, because that's his choir night.
That's okay. You can just tune in when he gets home. We'll always be here for you, Hanif.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, okay. Support the show. Patreon.com/X-Men Review Show. Get your merch at redbubble.com/people/X-Men Review Show/shop. We got a new design up on there right now, actually. It's kind of a variant of our previous Cyclops design. Cyclops, definitely the good guy. Get that on a t-shirt. Get that on a nice blue shirt or a hoodie or a sticker. Gorgeous stuff. Or, Cyclops was always cool. That one's up there too. We got some Cyclops variants. Magneto was right, still going strong. And what else? Like, review, subscribe, do all that stuff.
Yeah, do it. Do it now. Do it now.
Peer pressure. This is a teenage drama show. We're doing peer pressure. If you want to be cool like us, I guess you'll do it. Yeah. Or you won't be invited to whoever, what was that guy's name's party?
Yeah, that's right. Only freshmen get to go to that.
Yeah, exactly. You can find us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. And yeah, our audio only version wherever you get your podcasts. You know, we're part of the UF United Federation of Podcasts. Check us out at ufpodcast.com. If you still go to websites like it's 2008. Anything else?
No. Yeah,
Oh wait, what's going on over on
The Graphic Histories Podcast.
Well, sir. Yeah, episode just dropped today. Happy. I don't really say happy. It's not really a holiday.
Great episode.
Say happy too, but it is our version of Veterans Day here. We call it Remembrance Day in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
So you can, Remembrance Day. Hope you had a. It's a day off, mandatory day off in our province anyway. It's not in all of them. I think Quebec and Ontario don't do it.
Is that right?
I don't believe so. Because my wife works for Agropure. She has it off because she's in Nova Scotia, but other people that work in Quebec do not.
Draconian.
Mm-hmm. So episode just dropped today with
Mark McKenna.
Mark McKenna, yes. And then weird. On my website it's wrong. I have to fix that. It says Mark Maya on my website. And weird. Let me fix that.
First it was Mike McKenna, now it's Mark Amaya. Who are they?
Yeah, I had it right, but I don't know. It's right in the write-up, but it's not right. It wasn't right. It was right in the feed though, right? It's just been on the website.
I hope
The feed showed up right? Oh,
I didn't scrutinize it that close.
no, you fool! How will I know? What kind of producer are you?
Hey, I'm doing the best I can over here.
Mm-hmm. If you're a good producer, you get to edit it all for me, so I can save a lot more time. I can just dump you like in the audio files, and I can go about my life.
I don't edit. I do live shows.
Then you're not a producer, sir.
I'm not an editor.
Yes,
except a comic editor, apparently.
Mark McKenna, yes, episode dropped today, so that was really cool. Great episode. Davin liked it, as he said in his. Their next episode's a big one. Drops next Monday. Is with J.M. DeMatteis, Spider-Man writer, creator of Moonshadow, co-creator of the Justice League, the funny Justice League as we come to know them, Justice League International, Justice League Europe. Wrote Craven's Last Hunt. Really cool guy, really cool episode. I was very lucky to have him on the show, and I'm a big fan of Moonshadow, so we had a great conversation. After that will be Anaki Miranda.
Did you talk to him about Craven's Last Hunt at all with this Craven story coming up that they'll probably rip for?
Yes,
the
vaguely.
only good Craven story.
Yes, we did talk about it, about where it came from in his life and stuff, but also we did talk about how how he felt about people coming along later and building on the things he built and doing something wildly different. And he brought it up because it's kind of what I was fishing for, the when Maxwell Lord shot Blue Beetle in the head. That whole story and how it's really far from what he had envisioned with what they were doing with the funny Justice League back in the day. So, but it was a really cool conversation. The Naki Miranda episode after that's really, really great. And I'm talking to Chris Finoglia next, I think.
Oh yeah, Chris Finoglio, my favorite artist right now. He does the Lower Decks comics, the Star Trek Lower Decks comics.
Yes, so he will be next.
And he posted a pretty funny joke I saw the other day. Like, why do we call it lowercase t when subtlety was right there?
Oh yeah, that is a good joke. Very good joke.
Yeah, I like that one. All right, well, catch you next time.
Next time.
I'm like so out of here. Later.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. Tune in to X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. Artistic interviews with graphic histories. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And movie reviews with Hold Up, a movie podcast. And while you're at it, spin a few records with Eamon on Track. Watch us duke it out on trivial debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.